Hello, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is dun 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 dun. Da-la, da-la. This is our spoiler review. I'm gonna mess with the camera now. This is our spoiler review for Deadpool 2. This is spoilers. Yes, there's spoilers in Deadpool 2. Spoilers. You've been warned. I don't want to hear it in the comments that you weren't told. This is a spoiler review. And we are now going to begin with spoilers. It's been 30 seconds. I've told you spoilers a bunch of times. You understand? Okay, good. All right, cool.
And go.
And go. All right, so Deadpool 2. And when they announced the first Deadpool, it was kind of a, they didn't announce it. Ryan Reynolds worked on it for like 10 years to get it done. And then the test video dropped right around Comic-Con. I wonder how that happened.
Interesting.
And they made the first one, and it knocked it out of the park.
Right.
And so when they announced the second one, in the post-credit scene of the first one, they were going to have cable and everything. Everybody started freaking out, and there was this concern that it's going to live up to the hype of the first one,
right,
and everything else.
Right.
And to start off, I want to say I think it did. I think it lived up. It's on par with the first one.
Yes, I would agree. It is maybe for different reasons, but I had somebody ask me today, and I said, yeah, it's definitely not a sophomore slump.
No. It may have some tropes to it, some kind of, it very paint by numbers at times in some of the movie, but that's okay because Deadpool makes fun of that stuff as they go along.
Yeah.
And I think I watched a bunch of reviews this afternoon to get ready to do our review to just kind of see how my thought process was going along with maybe just getting a different perspective and stuff. And what I found for me is the points that they were complaining about was stuff that I really liked because they were they were directly looking at it and saying, this is a stereotypical here's the CGI character fight, go. And so that's part of the reason why I love the Deadpool movies.
Yeah.
We can say movies now with an S. So what were some of the things that you let's start with the stuff you didn't like, because I want to end on a good note. So what were some of the stuff that you didn't like?
Okay. Well, and I don't know that I would say there was anything that I was really like, oh my God, this was horrible, right? I did notice a couple scenes where the CGI was really off. And because it's Deadpool, I was expecting that to have been maybe on purpose and for them to call
out
attention to it. Specifically in the beginning, where he's fighting all the bosses or all the crime organizations.
Right.
And there's one where he's fighting kind of like some Asian guys. It looks like
Kill Bill.
No, it looks like the video game.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
And that's what I thought it was, but then they never called attention to it. And so I was like, well, that's weird.
Right.
But it didn't look real at all, which was very strange.
The car chase scene, there was a couple times with the car chase scene where the car was sliding into the gas station where the CGI seemed a little... We just watched Infinity War, right? So we're used to the CGI being amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, we were talking about the story. It was okay. It was different. I felt different about the story, and I said that last night on the way home.
Yeah.
And then I heard today that it was a different director, and so that makes sense why I felt a little different about the story. I connected more with the love story in the first one than it wasn't even a revenge story. It was a redemption story, I guess, in this one.
Redemption story is good. I would say dealing with grief. Like he was trying to deal with his grief.
You just expect Deadpool to have been revenge, right? And he didn't. He went off and did this thing with this kid, and I just kind of felt like it wasn't... I expected him to be really irreverent. It's Deadpool, and so maybe like lose his shit and go kill everybody, or just... But
He kind of did that. Like he actually even
a little
talked
bit.
about at towards the end. He talked about how everybody died. It was at fault for Vanessa dying. Spoilers. Vanessa dies. In like the first like 20 minutes of the movie.
Not even that. Like 5 minutes.
Yeah. But he talks about how he killed everybody else but himself, and he's stuck staying alive because and that was why he was, once he got into the prison and they put these collars on that like limits or takes away their mutant power, and he was
just like, okay, let me die. Yeah. And I get that. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It's kind of nitpicky, but I for the emotional part of it, which I don't go to Deadpool for emotion, so that's why this is kind of picky.
Right.
But the emotional part of it, I felt more in the first one.
In the first one.
And the only other thing that I really, I was like, what the fuck is TJ Miller doing in this movie? And
that's exactly where I was going to go.
I kind of felt like, because I had heard just a couple days ago that he will not be in the next one if there's another one.
Future,
and so I was like, oh, I wonder if something happened. And then his performance, it was like,
he showed up, he punched in, he did his lines, and then he left.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing to him.
And I don't know if there was something going on between him and the writers, him and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He just didn't care. There wasn't anything going. I don't know what the whole backstory was, but
he was my number one thing. Where like I really really like this movie. Like I've been having a hard time like trying to find stuff that I didn't like about this movie. But T.J. Miller's performance is the one thing that I like look at and go, what were you like?
Yeah.
Everybody else nails it.
Yeah.
Like Josh Brolin and Zazie Beetz and Ryan Reynolds, death scene at the end.
Yeah.
The 3 death scenes they have, which is kind of making fun of death scenes in movies.
Yeah.
But that scene, like I actually like they make a joke of like, I hope the Academy's watching.
Yeah.
And he was really good in that scene. But T.J. Miller's like one scene, a couple of scenes, the torture scene, where Cable's going to torture him and nothing happens, and he's like sitting there tied up. He's like not even fighting anything. And it was just like
it was like, do it already.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even. Yeah, he was not the witty, snappy.
I think all the fans would have been way okay if Cable just would have shot him right then. We just could have moved on with the movie.
Yeah,
like he found his phone, like picked up his phone. Oh, they're going here. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I really like, we're talking about the CGI with the car chase and stuff like that. The kid going back and forth over trying to be a badass and being tortured and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's 14. He's a 14-year-old kid with like trying to go through being a teenager with mutant powers, and he's heavy set, and so that emotional thing back and forth. I understood it, but I also see why people complained about it with the. They didn't know really what his motivation was and stuff like that. But I get that. On positive stuff, everything else is amazing.
Yeah.
Like
it is hysterical. There were a couple of times where I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
We got in the car and I'm like, my face hurts from laughing so much. It's not a comedy film with action in it, and it's not an action film with comedy in it. It's a comedy action film.
Yeah.
And the action is really good. Of course it's going to be. It's from one of the directors of John Wick and the guy who did Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
So the action was really good. The comedy, they would throw jabs in, and you're laughing at the previous jab, and you miss the next one. So we're going to have to catch up
we'll
on a lot of that stuff.
Again,
like we said, Josh Brolin, Zazie Beetz, Ryan Reynolds, all of them were really, really, really good in it.
Zazie Beetz was amazing.
As Domino.
A couple of people said, that they pointed that out, and I was like, I just wanted to see more of her. Like every time she was on the screen, I was just like,
I would be way okay with her as a standalone movie at this point in time. She carried every scene she was in, she carried the scene.
Yeah.
And not like in a bad way, taking it away from Josh Brolin or Ryan Reynolds or whatever. You just were drawn to her.
You just wanted to see more of her.
And and this is going to sound really weird, but she was sexy without being sexual.
Yeah.
Right. She like you felt that that positiveness towards herself, and she's like, yeah, I'm a badass. Why? Because I'm lucky. And like she's falling back. It was in the trailer. She was falling backwards, and she looks over her shoulder and falls into the panda.
Yeah.
And then she gets up and she kind of brushes herself off, and kind of walks off. And her dry wit against Ryan Reynolds and everything.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin's straight man as Cable
Yeah.
is really good.
I appreciate that they changed some things too. Like, I think there was a couple things in the trailers that just straight out weren't in there. And
Right.
then there was a lot of misdirection, which I was talking again today with somebody, and I was like, even if you've seen the trailers, you don't feel like you know the movie because you go in there and you're like, oh yeah, so this is X-Force and he's going to get this group together and they're going to
Right.
go off and I want to see what happens with Peter and all this stuff. No, they die
Yeah. Yeah.
immediately.
That is the that's gonna be my second favorite like sequence in the entire movie is X-Force on the helicopter. Like one of my favorite lines from a movie ever is weird. It's from Zero Dark 30, and they're all in the helicopter, and one of the guys says, "Anybody else been in a heli crash?" And everybody raised their hand. And we're in the movie, and the joke, she leans over, "Anybody else been in a heli crash?" And I like raise my hand, and our friends are sitting next to us are like, "What do you guys?
Yeah, we're having a moment."
But them all getting all riled up in the speech and everything like that, and they jump out the plane, and they all die gruesome deaths, like terrible, evil, horrible deaths, and it works. Like you marketed the whole movie on X-Force, the original X-Force, all come together, and then you kill them, and they're all been on the screen for like 8 minutes, and it's perfect. It's so good.
And the cameos.
So I was going to talk about the cameos. If there's anything else you want to talk about other than the cameos and the final scene?
No, that's good.
Okay, so let's talk about the cameos. Matt Damon is the cameo king. I didn't even know it was Matt Damon until somebody said it on Movie Talk or something today.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking Matt Damon. So Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk
Tudyk
are rednecks, and Cable shows up and says, "I need your." I wanted him to say, "I need your clothes and your gun," is what I wanted him to say. That would have been super super meta. So the two of them are in it. Brad Pitt is in it for
the
like
Invisible Man or
for
whatever.
like 3 seconds because he runs in the power pole. Alexander Skarsgård is
He's the
Zygots.
Yeah.
Trey Cruz is in it. He's it's not really a whatever. The other scene though is they're in the X-Men mansion. Frickin' Wade is like driving around in Xavier's wheelchair, whatever, and Colossus is like trying to tell him like how to be a good person and stuff, and Wade's still trying to deal with the death of Vanessa and everything, and he's like, how come every time you're at the X Mansion there's nobody here? It's like the studio couldn't give us like throw us a bone after all the money we made in the last one and give us a couple of X-Men. And they go to and he like goes down the hallway and the camera turns and all of First Class is standing there. It's McAvoy, it's Beast, it's Quicksilver. They're all standing there, and Beast goes over and just closes the door. It's like 4 total frames.
Yeah,
it's like the
You're
best.
Like, oh!
It's like the best cameo ever until the end.
Which I don't know. Can you say it's a cameo? Because it really wasn't him. It was him from another movie.
So the post-credit scene, so Cable's got this time travel thing, and he talks about how he only had enough juice to go back in time to kill the kid. Who the kid is amazing, by the way. What's his name? It's not even, of course, it's not even at the top of the screen. Russell, who's played by Julian Dennison. He's awesome.
Yeah.
As Russell, just like we talked about how him trying to figure everything out. But Cable goes back in time to kill Russell because Russell becomes this evil mutant
that kills his family.
His family.
Yep.
And so Cable talks about at the end he only has 2 juices enough to go back in time and kill Russell and then go back and be with his family. And he uses his last one to save Deadpool.
Right.
And to save Wade, and so he has no more juice left, and he decides to stay, and that's how we're going to get Cable and Domino to be together,
right?
And move all that stuff forward. So the first post-credit scene is Wade's got the time thing, and he's got Nanosonic Teenage Warhead fixing it, and now he can go back in time.
Right.
And the first scene after that is he goes back in time and saves Vanessa.
Right.
Which is like, of course they did. Time travel works in the X-Men universe, right? So of course he does. And then he proceeds to travel through all of the movies and timelines of stuff that happens. So X2, when he plays Deadpool the first time, and he's that X23 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And they pan the camera around, and there he is. It's the scene from the movie when X23 is standing there, and they pan the camera back, and it's the fucking scene with Logan standing there. Let's say, making the line of, I see they finally figured out a way to make you shut up, or whatever the line is, whatever.
Yeah.
And X23's hands, the claws come out, and all of a sudden a gun comes out, bang, 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 and he shoots himself. Deadpool shoots Deadpool in the head.
Right.
And so that's the cameo you get for freaking Wolverine in the Deadpool movie.
Right.
And it's perfect. And then he goes back in time and he shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head while he's looking at the script for Green Lantern.
Right.
It's amazing that you're willing to make fun of yourself so much that you're willing to go back in time and kill yourself in a movie.
Right.
Right?
No, it's Deadpool. He's made fun of himself
quite a
for
bit.
2 movies.
Quite a bit. Overall, though, I think I really liked it. I would love to see it again. We're going to buy it on Blu-ray. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before scores?
Nope.
Score.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
I was a 4.
Okay.
And for all the reasons that we have talked about, plus it really stayed to the hype that I had for it.
Yeah.
Like it did.
Yeah.
It lived up to the hype and everything that I was hoping for. And I want more. We don't know because of the Fox, the Fox deal.
Right.
So we don't know what's going to happen and a different X-Force or whatever. So that was my thoughts.
Yep.
So that's what we think. I hope you guys appreciate this. We would like to go on for a lot more, but there's tacos. So, and we just got home, so we're hungry and ready to go. So, tell us what you guys thought of Deadpool, Deadpool 2. What do you think about the X-Force going forward? What's going to happen with the Sony deal? All of that kind of Fox deal. Sony's a different thing. That's Spider-Man. With the Fox deal, they're going to do more R-rated movies, that kind of stuff. Leave us a comment and tell us your thoughts. Also, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications where we're uploading stuff all the time. And you can get us on social media. We're PopCultureCult on Facebook, PopCultureCult1 on Instagram, and we're at Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. We're also in the Stardust app. Download it for free. React to everything that you're watching, including Deadpool 2. In fact, we got put in as a featured content again today with Deadpool 2. So let us know what you guys thought about Deadpool 2. And until next time, happy tacos. Good afternoon now.